Friends, when Lord Shri Krishna left this earth and started going to Nityadam, then Uddhav asked Lord Shri Krishna that Lord, after your departure, the terrible Kalyug will come, and on this earth, many evil people will appear. Many good men will also become evil-natured due to the influence of Kalyug. Then what will happen to the people of this earth? Hearing this, Lord Shri Krishna started thinking that something should be done to protect his true devotees. Then he put all his energies into Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Lord Shri Krishna, after meditation, entered this ocean of Bhagavad. The meaning of this is that Bhagavad Gita is the physical embodiment of Lord Shri Krishna, that is, given through the mouth of Lord Shri Krishna himself. That is precious knowledge, that nectar, by drinking which everything gets destroyed automatically. Friends, just as all the wolves run away due to the roar of a lion in the forest, in the same way, by listening or reading the story of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, all the evils of Kali Yuga are destroyed. That house becomes like a place of pilgrimage, where Srimad Bhagavad Katha is read or heard every day. All the sorrows and poverty of the person living in that house goes away. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is that nectar, drinking which automatically destroys all the fear, hunger, disease and pain. Hence man should concentrate his mind and intellect and surrender himself at the feet of God. Bhagavad Gita should be listened to carefully. There is no rule of days for reading or listening to Srimad Bhagavad Gita. It can be read or heard anytime. By daily recitation of just one, half or quarter verse with its meaning, the desired results can be achieved. Friends, it is very important for you to know that Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavad Purana are two different books. The author of both Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavad Purana is Maharishi Vedvyas Ji. The Bhagavata Purana, one of the 18 Puranas, is a Bhakti scripture, and the Bhagavad Gita, taken from the Mahabharata, is a Yoga scripture. Friends, Srimad Bhagavad Purana, composed by Maharishi Vedvyas, has 18,000 verses, 335 chapters and 12 sections. Rishi Shukdev Ji, who was the son of Vedvyas, narrated Srimad Bhagavad to King Parikshit, who was cursed by Rishi Shrungi to be killed by Takshak snake in 7 days, that his death would be, it will be done in 7 days. For his salvation, the story of knowledge which was narrated by Sukdev Maharaj to Maharaj Parikshit in 7 days is Bhagavad Purana. With the end of King Parikshit, the end of Dwapara Yuga and the beginning of Kalyug has been celebrated. Whereas the Bhagavad Gita, which was narrated by Lord Krishna to Arjuna during the war in Kurukshetra, and the knowledge given to Arjuna by Lord Krishna, are compiled in it. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, there are about 700 verses in a total of 18 chapters. These have been edited in 3 sections. In the 6 chapters of the first section, Karma Yoga has been described in great detail. In the second section, the glories of devotion and nurturing of devotion are described in detail, drawing attention to the grandeur of God. In the 6 chapters of the third section, philosophy is explained. Among all the Vedic scriptures, Srimad Bhagavad Gita is considered the most important because it contains an essence of the Vedas in which you can find the answer to every question related to your life and the solution to every problem of yours. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is based on the dialogue between Arjuna and his charioteer Lord Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, monotheism etc. have been discussed very beautifully. Srimad Bhagavad Gita teaches man about karma, explains the importance. Friends, in today's busy life, people do not have enough time to understand the valuable knowledge given in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Many such things have been mentioned in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, understanding which makes the difficulties in human life much easier. Many problems keep coming in our life, which seem similar to the problems that faced Arjuna's life in Dwapara Yuga. Friends, what is the importance of this human life? Some people do bhajan kirtan, but such people try to escape from their deeds, which takes them in the wrong direction. But by reading or understanding Bhagavad Gita properly, one should assess oneself, because we know ourselves well. To build a good personality, study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita is very necessary, hence many Srimad Bhagavad Gita has been studied by scholars, but understanding Srimad Bhagavad Gita is not easy. Today through this video, we are trying to explain Srimad Bhagavad Gita to you in very simple words. In a simple way, we will try to explain the 700 verses of all the 18 chapters very well in a very short time, which is a summary, in which nothing will be left out. Friends, the first chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita is Arjuna Vishad Yoga, in which the state of mind of Arjuna is described through 46 verses. About 5,000 years ago, in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the valuable knowledge that Lord Krishna gave to Arjuna before the start of the Mahabharata war, is famous by the name of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Friends, when it became certain that the war would definitely take place, then both the sides started preparations for the war. After completing the preparations for the war, both the Kauravas and the Pandavas reached Kurukshetra with their armies. In this war, there were warriors who had never tasted defeat in battle, and there were also warriors who had seen defeat in battle very rarely. Pandavas had 7 Akshauhini army, and Kauravas had 11 Akshauhini army, hence Duryodhana was becoming very happy, because Kauravas had a big army, which included grandfather Bhishma, Dronacharya, Kripakarya, Karna, Ashvathama, Madranarish. There were great warriors like Shalaya, Bhurishrava, Alambush, Kritavarma. In the army of Pandavas, there were warriors like Arjuna, Bhima, the 5 Pandavas and Lord Shri Krishna, the 5 sons of Draupadi, Satyaki, Virat, Drupada, Drishtadyumna, Abhimanyu, Ghatotkach, Shikandi. Friends, when Arjuna sees his guru, Drona, grandfather Bhishma and other relatives in the battlefield, then Arjuna becomes grief-stricken and sad. Arjuna says to Shri Krishna, that here, someone is my teacher, someone is my brother, someone is my relative, I cannot kill my own people in the war, I do not want the kingdom, if any of the 3 worlds also kill me. Even then, I will not fight such a war in which I have to kill my own people. Having said this, Arjuna, feeling extremely sad and cursing himself, being frightened, puts down his bow and sits in the rear of the chariot. Seeing Arjuna's problem, Lord Krishna gives him the knowledge of Gita, which is equally applicable to our lives today in this modern lifestyle. Friends, the first chapter is Arjuna Vishad Yoga, which means Arjuna's sorrow, sadness. The problem that Arjuna faced seems to be similar to our life today. Friends, there will be challenges in your life, you will have to face them and fight them, for which you should know how to abandon your attachments and desires. Friends, many times in our lives, such a problem arises when it becomes necessary for us to fight for religion, and in this time of trouble, we become dejected and badly trapped in its maze. It seems impossible for us to get out of that problem. The way out of these problems is the knowledge that Lord Krishna has given to Arjuna in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, so that we can fight the problems coming in our life, and only then we will be able to move forward on the path of devotion. Friends, when we get into some serious problem, we should consider it as a challenge and maintain our confidence, and in this difficult time, we should maintain our confidence and move forward with understanding. Complete preparation should be done. To overcome this dilemma or to fight the problems, Lord Shri Krishna explains the divine knowledge of Gita to Arjuna, in which is hidden the importance of the entire life, and the attainment of Parabrahma, i.e. a man's own, how to reach the final destination. Friends, in the second chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Sankhya Yoga, there are a total of 72 verses, in which Lord Krishna gives Arjuna the knowledge of Gyan Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, and the knowledge of the self. Friends, if seen in reality, this chapter contains the summary of the entire Srimad Bhagavad Gita, hence this chapter is considered to be a very important chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Friends, when Arjuna, being extremely sad, refuses to fight the war, then Shri Krishna gives self-knowledge to Arjuna, which is equally applicable to our modern life today, as during the war of Mahabharata, Arjuna was applicable to the life of. Friends, to understand this chapter well, you should pray to Lord Krishna to get this knowledge for yourself. Because when you are extremely sad, then just by remembering God, God comes running to help you. Just as Lord Krishna helped Arjuna, in the same way Shri Krishna is always ready to help us. Live. But the need is that we remember God all the time, whether there is happiness or sadness in your life. Friends, let us move ahead with this chapter, towards our final destination, from where Lord Shri Krishna starts giving the real knowledge to Arjuna. Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, a brave warrior never turns away from war, it does not suit him. Friends, similarly, in our life, when any problem is very serious, then never show the weakness of your mind to anyone, and you, without considering yourself weak, while facing the problem in this difficult time, move forward, fighting the problem. Many times, the circumstances are not favorable for you, then at that time, we start feeling very weak, and we start feeling wrong as well as right, due to which, people start moving towards unrighteousness. Seeing such condition of Arjuna, Lord Shri Krishna says to Arjuna, how did these impurities come inside you? For one who knows the value of life, these are not at all suitable, they will lead you to disgrace. O Arjuna, do not succumb to this humiliating impotence, give up such small feebleness of your heart, arise and make war. Friends, Arjuna, despite being the best warrior, got scared. There cannot be a better person in this world than the one who had achieved victory in sleep. But the best person, when he gets scared, if at that time that person, when someone surrenders himself to God, then God definitely helps him, just as Sri Krishna helped Arjuna. You must have seen in Sri Krishna's pastimes that he always talks to a sad person with a smile. The reason for this is that Sri Krishna, the Trikaldarshi, knows every moment and every moment to come. Friends, this is the lesson we learn from this, that it is wise for us to live every moment, that is, our present moment only. Therefore, it is wise for a person to live only in his present moment, without reminiscing about his past, and without worrying about his future. The knowledge of Lord Shri Krishna takes us towards the final destination, which means very simply that we should not mourn for anything. In Sakya Yoga, Shri Krishna is trying to tell that man trapped in the cycle of time, comes and goes in this world and remains there. We were there yesterday and will be there again. The cycle of life always goes on continuously. This is the law of change of nature, that our soul never dies, because today the soul is in this body, tomorrow it will be in another body, because it is indestructible. Lord Shri Krishna says, O Arjuna, son of Kunti, this change is the law of nature, and man has to tolerate this change. It is the law of nature that we have to bear these three heats in life, divine, physical and material sorrow, while living in this human body. We have to move forward bearing these heats. Friends, Lord Krishna is trying to explain to Arjuna that he should not express his sorrow to any man, nor should he cry for him, nor should he get too excited. Because man's emotional thought does not remain the same at every moment, with time, it changes. This means that after something bad, good happens, and even after something good, bad can happen. This is the law of nature, and this is the truth. What Sri Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna is that a wise man always remains stable. He neither becomes more sad in sorrow, nor more happy in happiness. This is the truth of life. Friends, Sri Krishna is trying to make Arjuna understand that, you are fighting against religion, you can only destroy their body and not their soul, which is perishable. If Arjuna, you think this. If I destroy the soul, then you are a very foolish person, because if the soul leaves this body today, then the next moment, according to its karma, it will acquire another body. Lord Shri Krishna says that, in this world of sorrow, people do deeds only to attain their pleasures, due to which man starts moving towards unrighteousness, but a wise man does deeds for his soul. One should avoid getting entangled in material pleasures by doing good deeds which satisfy one's soul and lead one to salvation. Friends, the reason why God gives self-knowledge here is that there is no point in a person's life to mourn over anything. Man should neither mourn over the joys and sorrows of life, of the material world, because these are temporary. The ultimate aim of this human life is self-knowledge. Friends, Sri Krishna is saying that we should take our life towards enlightenment, only then we will be able to take our life towards our final destination. Some people, despite being knowledgeable, are not able to choose right from wrong, like Bhishma Pitama in the war of Mahabharata. Similarly, today in the modern era, there are many knowledgeable people who, despite knowing everything, indulging in pleasures, forget their knowledge and remain trapped in the cycle of life and death. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that only the person who follows the Dharma while facing the challenges reaches the door of salvation. Therefore, O Arjuna, if you run away from the war, people will insult you. And if you fight, whatever the outcome of the war, you will get honor from it. So friends, human life, morally, is full of tragic choices, many times in the same decision, each thought. It is impossible to satisfy, which increases the burden of responsibility associated with decision-making on a person, due to which, a person starts running away from his responsibilities. Instead of running away from our responsibilities, we should face the problems in our life boldly. Running away from trouble means that you are taking your life to hell, because people who criticize you are always looking for an opportunity to put you down. Fighting problems in life, and facing those challenges, is what we gain. Whether you win or lose, we gain experience. This means that we should fight the problems that come in life by considering profit, loss, sorrow and happiness all equally, or rather we should say that while doing our work, we should not expect any result from it. Without worrying, one should keep doing the work. While giving us Gyan Yoga, God explains the importance of karma along with it. Sri Krishna says that the people who perform deeds for the sake of attaining the pleasures of their deeds and for attaining heaven, such people are hypocrites, because apart from happiness and opulence, they do not see anything else. For example, a person has observed Ekadashi fast, but the thought of eating is running in his mind. According to God, such a fast has been observed in vain, because such a person does karma to enjoy the fruits of his actions. Therefore, God warns that we should maintain distance from such people, because people with this kind of mentality go towards hell. Such people are not interested in the work, but in the fruits of the work, that is, he is attached to the results of his actions. For this reason, people are not able to complete their work with full devotion, due to which, people do some wrong or flawed work, which causes their downfall. Here the Lord is clearly explaining that one should give up one's desires, doing one's work, with a clear mind, without worrying about profit or loss. Because desires promote greed and take a person away from the door of salvation, hence by concentrating the mind and moving forward, we should give up the things of the material world. Meaning of renunciation, by doing our duty keeping your mind pure and pure, without any gain or loss, we will be able to control the mind by controlling the senses. This is the mark of a wise man, and one whose work is only to think about the gratification of his senses, destroys his memory power, and gets ruined by immersing himself in a life of pleasures and luxury. We should control our senses, move forward towards our goal, concentrate, with a concentrated mind, chanting the name of God. Friends, the third chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita is Karma Yoga. It has 43 verses. In this chapter, we will tell about Karma Yoga, and will know how we achieve the state of non-karma while remaining in the state of karma. In the first chapter, in Sankhya Yoga, Arjuna attains self-knowledge, due to which Arjuna gets trapped in the dilemma of karma and sannyasa, and asks Lord Krishna, what is better between karma and sannyasa, because Arjuna want to avoid the action of not fighting. Arjuna understands that by fighting, he will become a sinner, hence retiring is better than fighting. While explaining the matter of renunciation and karma very deeply to Arjuna, Sri Krishna says that before taking renunciation, one will also have to do karma. Sri Krishna says, in this material world, the path of renunciation, full of penances, is a very difficult path, but through karma, it is easy to attain God, that is, to reach one's final destination. Even after becoming a sannyasi, one will have to do karma. Whatever be the condition of a person, he keeps doing karma. This means that nothing is going to be achieved by avoiding karma, because in whatever state a person is, he will still perform karma even if he does not want to. No being can remain indolent, even for a moment. Only by doing proper deeds, one can be freed from the bondage of karma. The deeds done for show are like hypocrites wearing saffron clothes. For example, if a person, having given up household life, becomes a sannyasi, but has a desire for women's pleasures along with material pleasures in his mind, God is calling such a person a grave sinner. According to Sri Krishna, the person who performs his duty by controlling his senses and without any desire for enjoyment is called nishkam karma. The person who dedicates this type of work and its results to God, such a person is a great and complete karma yogi. Even if a beautiful woman or a delicious food comes in front of such a person, that person completes his work with devotion. Thereafter, Sri Krishna emphasizes that all living beings on this earth have to perform their responsibilities using the order of creation created by God, such as various forms of nature. When we perform our duties in gratitude to God, then such actions become yajnas. The rituals of yajnas are actually performed to please the gods and goddesses of heaven, as they provide us with worldly pleasures and provide prosperity. Due to such yajnas, climate changes on the earth and rainfall occurs, which produces food, which is necessary for sustenance of life. On this earth, those people who do not contribute their responsibility towards this creation cycle, such people are called by Sri Krishna as sinners, because such people live their life only to get the comfort of their senses. The life of such people becomes meaningless. Such a person never gets free from the cycle of birth and death, keeps taking birth again in different births, and is never able to free himself from the karmic bondage of the cycle of creation. Therefore, after knowing the self, a person should also do deeds for the welfare of the people in order to attain salvation, that is, to be free from the bondage of karma. If you want to make this human life good, then you will be able to become an example in front of other people, by doing the right kind of work, by renouncing sensual pleasures, by giving up the pleasures, then you will be able to become such an example in front of other people. Also, can follow in your life. Here God, giving his own example to Arjuna, says that, I am the Lord of all the three worlds, I can get whatever I want, but still I work on earth, in every age, by taking human incarnation, just as I am with you at this moment, as your charioteer. If I do not do the work, then everything on this earth will be destroyed and will be a disaster. Arjuna then asks Sri Krishna why people engage in sinful activities, unwillingly, or are they forced to do sinful activities? On this, Sri Krishna explains that the omnivorous enemy of sin in the world is only lust. Just as fire is covered by smoke, a mirror is covered by dust, in the same way lust affects man's knowledge, veils, and destroys his intelligence. O Arjuna, destroy this enemy of desire and control your senses, mind, and intellect. God further says that how man, while doing work, attains the state of non-action. If man hands over the fruits of his work to God, then that work of man is called non-action. Akarma is that state of action in which God is pleased with the devotee and destroys the sins committed knowingly or unknowingly in his life and gives results to his devotee as per his interest. Friends, Gyan Karma, Sannyasa Yoga is the 4th chapter of Gita, which has 42 verses. In this, Sri Krishna explains to Arjuna that for the protection of the righteous, and the destruction of the unrighteous, the Guru is of utmost importance. Sri Krishna tells Arjuna the secret of divine knowledge. This is the same eternal knowledge, which he preached millions of years ago, first to the sun god, then gradually, in every age, this knowledge continuously reached the royal sages. But with time, with the increase of unrighteousness, this knowledge became extinct. Lord Sri Krishna tells Arjuna that he had given this knowledge to Surya ages ago. Then a doubt arises in Arjuna's mind, and then Arjuna asks the question, what Sri Krishna, in the present time I am standing in front of him, how can he preach this knowledge to the sun god, ages ago? The sun was born millions of years ago, that is, many ages ago. Then Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, O Arjuna, you know that my birth is now, but this is not true. The Lord, removing the doubt arising in Arjuna's mind, explains, I am the unborn, the indestructible and the God of all beings in the universe. I, in every age, manifest and incarnate through my Yoga Maya. This means, O Arjuna, I have given this knowledge of Gita many times in the past, and will continue to give it from time to time in the future also, as unrighteousness increases, for the welfare of the people.
Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhav bharat. Abhyutthanma dharmasya tadatmanam srijamehe.
Whenever there is a decline in righteousness, I come. Whenever unrighteousness increases, I appear before the people in a physical form. I come to protect the noble people. To destroy the wicked, I come. To establish righteousness, I come, and take birth in every age. God takes birth in every age to punish corrupt people who consider themselves gods and are not afraid of wrongdoing. Friends, Lord Krishna is trying to explain to Arjuna that when a human being on earth gets entangled in lust, anger, pride and greed, he starts harming other people. Such a person gets punished in all the three worlds, but the person who surrenders himself to God without getting entangled in lust, anger, pride and greed, attains salvation. Further, Sri Krishna, while explaining the difference between karma and akarma, says, karma means doing something, akarma means not doing anything even after doing something. This means that after performing any deed, surrendering its fruits at the feet of God is called a karma. A person who becomes a scholar in his karma becomes void. Such a person gets happiness, comfort, wealth, glory, and a lot of progress in life. Without being proud of this, he places both his actions and the results at the feet of God. Such a person, after attaining the happiness of all the three worlds, attains salvation. Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, why do we need a guru? Guru can explain all the mysterious subjects to us very well. By taking refuge in a capable guru, we gain valuable knowledge. Guru helps us to attain God. Devotion, and shows the path of liberation from sins. With the help of teachers, a person becomes capable of choosing right from wrong, and avoids committing unrighteousness. Therefore, Arjuna, the doubt in your mind, which gives birth to ignorance, having given it away, take up Gandiva and fight. Friends, Karma Sannyasa Yoga is the 5th chapter of Gita, which has 29 verses. In this chapter, the path of karma sannyasa is compared with the path of karma yoga. Sri Krishna explains that both paths lead to the same goal, and we can choose one of them. But the renunciation of karma is not done completely, until the man's mind becomes completely pure, and the purification of the mind is achieved by doing karma with devotion. In this chapter, Lord Sri Krishna explains the meaning of how to attain vikarma from inaction. A person should do something through his actions that makes a special action possible. Friends, like scientists, they keep making new discoveries in something or the other. Scientists, while doing this work, neither think about the subject of their research, nor do they worry about the results of their work. Paying attention to the results of karma means that scientists do not know whether their experiment will be successful or unsuccessful, but they keep trying continuously in search of their experiment. Next, Arjuna asks Sri Krishna, you tell me that action is better than renunciation, then you also tell me the specialty of renunciation, due to which I am confused as to which path I should choose. Friends, to solve Arjuna's dilemma, Sri Krishna says, the goal of both sannyasa yoga and karma yoga is the same. The path of sannyasa yoga is difficult, hence only karma yoga is suitable for man, karma yoga, which man can do in every situation. Further, Sri Krishna says, the man who is not jealous of anyone, does not get angry, and has no desire to achieve anything in his mind, such a man knows the Supreme Lord. Such a person is suitable to become a sannyasi. O Arjuna, it is not the case that a person gets different results from sannyasa yoga and karma yoga. Here Lord Sri Krishna is trying to explain that the aim of both sannyasa yoga or karma yoga is to lead towards God, so that man can attain the supreme abode. Just wearing saffron clothes is not sannyas. Do not fall under the cover of such hypocrites, these ignorant people, who go around giving knowledge to others, saying that they should do puja all the time, keep offering nectar to the gods and goddesses. Sri Krishna is calling such people fools. According to Lord Krishna, doing one's work selflessly while living in the family is the best. A karma yogi, discharging his worldly responsibilities with a pure mind, renouncing his attachment to the fruits of his actions, offers them to the Lord. Such people remain unaffected by sin in the same way as a leaf of a lotus flower floats in water, but the water cannot touch it. Further, Sri Krishna says that in all living beings, there is my soul, that is I. A sannyasi, who understands the knowledge and lives, breathes, eats and also performs all the activities of living which are necessary for living. True sannyasis, by developing within themselves the faultless qualities of the Lord, become established in the absolute truth. A sannyasi knows and understands very well that it is God who is doing all the activities that are taking place. On the contrary, man's ego thinks that he is the one who does all this. For example, a person is the owner of crores of rupees, and he is living a life of luxury. He feels that he can eat, drink anything and do anything comfortably. But when he sits down to eat, at that very moment, unbearable pain starts in his stomach. will the power of his money be able to give him the strength to eat food at that time? No. Friends, this means that no matter whether you are a king or a saint, you cannot achieve anything without the will of God. You must have heard that without the will of God, not even a leaf moves. A true sannyasi understands well, but the ego within us does not accept all this. Worldly people, without knowing that the pleasures they get from contact with sense objects are, in fact, the causes of suffering. Out of ignorance they try to obtain the pleasures that come from sense objects, but a man of action is not pleased by these, rather he prefers to experience the joy of God within himself. That is, there is a difference between a karma yogi and a person like us, who tries to attain worldly pleasures. A man walks according to his natural nature, but a man should recognize his nature and understand it. If we have a bad nature, then control it. He should do his deeds according to the knowledge given by Lord Krishna. Victory belongs only to the man who controls his nature. Therefore, recognize the truth of God, just as there is no darkness due to the presence of light. In the same way, there is a change in your nature with the divine light of knowledge of Lord Shri Krishna. This divine knowledge given by Lord Shri Krishna thousands of years ago is not easy for everyone to understand in the modern era, due to the reason that the human soul is not free from the cycle of birth and death. Keeps wandering in different species. Atmasanyam Yoga is the 6th chapter of Gita, which has 47 verses. In this, Shri Krishna tells Arjuna about Ashtanga Yoga. He tells how the dilemma of the mind can be removed. Friends, in this chapter, Lord Krishna, while explaining to Arjuna about karma, says that before self-meditation, a person should do karma, leaving aside all the desires of his mind. Further, Shri Krishna says that a man should move towards his goal by abandoning all the desires that come in the way of yoga. Now, a question must be arising in your mind that if you give up the desires, then how will you live? On this, Shri Krishna explains that when a person moves forward on a path, if he has desires in his mind, then he is not able to complete any of his work without worrying, due to which man is not able to reach his goal. Here Shri Krishna is telling something to be understood carefully. Whenever we are doing any work thinking about the benefits of doing it, then we are not able to complete that work, or we keep thinking about it, or are not able to start it at all. Therefore, Arjuna, you give up your desires and move forward in this path of yoga, because destiny and God, i.e. Krishna, will definitely support him. Further, Shri Krishna says, our enemies and friends are not the people around us, but we ourselves. Do you know how? The person who decides his own good and bad by being influenced by the words of others is his own enemy. But a simple-minded person does not get influenced by the words of others, but thinks about the problems himself and solves his problems. Solves problems, decides for himself what is appropriate and what is inappropriate. Friends, Arjuna, the questions arising in the mind of a seeker from Lord Shri Krishna are that how should he start following this path, because due to an unstable mind, a seeker's mind is unable to reach the goal. On this, Shri Krishna reassures Arjuna and says that evil can never overpower a person who strives to attain God. The Lord always awakens the accumulated karma of his previous lives, which is the record of our spiritual qualities, and the knowledge acquired in our previous lives, from where we left off in our journey. Let's continue it from there. The merits acquired from many previous births are transferred to the yogi's present life, so that a yogi can be able to reach God. This is what Sri Krishna has tried to explain, how a yogi tries to integrate with God. Friends, Gyan Vijayan Yoga is the 7th chapter of Gita, which has 30 verses. This chapter begins with a description of the physical and spiritual dimensions of God's powers, in which Sri Krishna explains his Tat-Gyan. Such knowledge, which if you understand, then after this, nothing else is left to know. This knowledge is the basis of the entire life, such essential knowledge, after knowing which, man remains happy in every situation. Sri Krishna further says that this entire creation appears from him and resides in him like pearls strung on a thread. He is the source of this entire creation, and one day, it all merges back into him. Lord Shri Krishna, while telling Arjuna about this nature, says that my 8 types of root, nature, earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence and ego, all these are generated by my will. It has happened, that is, it is Lord Krishna himself. O Arjun, this entire world is bound to me, and I am the cause of all causes. O Arjun, through yoga, you meditate on me only, because I am everywhere, in every ear. I am juice and water, I am in the light of moon and sun, Omkar in the Vedas, I Om is also Sri Krishna, the essence of all living beings. The reason for all is I, everything has originated from me, the intelligence of the intelligent people is also I, the specialty of anything is I, ego and lust are I, that is, Sri Krishna. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that this universe is basically made up of three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas, but I, Krishna, am beyond all these. These qualities of nature are present in every human being. The yogi who knows me, comes out of their cycle. Friends, due to these three qualities, disorders like greed, anger etc. are born inside the human being, like the origin of Maya, from which not everyone is able to escape, and those who are saved are only those, Lord Sri Krishna, are devotees of. If man gives up these three qualities, then only we can know Lord Sri Krishna, because these qualities have originated from Sri Krishna, and Sri Krishna is beyond these qualities. People with such nature, who do not worship me, are egoistic, suffering from demonic thinking. Such people consider themselves as doers. Friends, now think in your mind what nature is there within you. Lord Krishna describes 4 types of people who do not surrender, and 4 types of people who are engrossed in his devotion. Such devotees are very dear to Sri Krishna, who worship him by merging their mind and intellect in him and being established in knowledge. There are some devotees whose intelligence is taken away by worldly desires. Such devotees go to the heavenly gods for refuge. Only such devotees can provide the happiness and prosperity of the temporary material world. But these gods also have powers received from God, through which they provide happiness and prosperity to their devotees. Therefore, devotion should be done only to God and not to gods and other supernatural powers. Your goal should be devotion to God. Your final destination is God, who is endowed with eternal, divine qualities such as omniscience, omnipresence, and omnipotence. Because the real nature of that God remains covered by the veil of his divine Yogamaya power, for this reason, his indestructible divine form cannot be known by all human beings. Therefore, instead of taking refuge in gods, you should directly seek refuge in God. If we take refuge in God, then God himself imparts his divine knowledge to such devotees to know him. O Arjun, there are many people who worship me, but only my knowledgeable devotee is dear to me. Because a knowledgeable devotee tries to know the nature of my true essence, such devotees are very dear to me. The 8th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita is Akshar Brahma Yoga, which has 28 verses. This text, from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, contains the doctrine of heaven and hell, describing one's thoughts before death, the spiritual world, and the path to hell and heaven. It also describes how the destination of the soul is determined after death. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, given by Lord Sri Krishna, floating in the immense ocean of knowledge, you and I have gone a long way. As we move forward with this knowledge, this ocean of knowledge will become deeper. It is possible that you may get confused, but do not panic. Lord Sri Krishna will definitely answer your every question. Friends, Arjuna has known all this, but now, another dilemma has arisen in his mind. Sri Krishna has understood the dilemma in Arjuna's mind. Lord Sri Krishna says, how can a human being attain salvation, i.e. Lord Sri Krishna, in his last moments? Friends, the person who mistakes Sri Krishna for an ordinary human being is doomed to destruction in all the 3 worlds. Sri Krishna is nothing else but Parabrahma, who is neither beginning nor end. At the last moment of a person's death, according to his feelings and thoughts, he takes birth in the next life. Sri Krishna further says, it is not easy to become a yogi. For this, the remembrance of Lord Sri Krishna should remain in the mind all the time. Therefore friends, when a man, while renouncing his body, remembers God, then we definitely attain that supreme God. Along with completing his daily tasks, man should always keep thinking about God's attributes, qualities, and divine pastimes. When we, with undivided devotion to the Lord, completely immerse our mind in the Lord, then man enters the spiritual realm, beyond the physical dimensions. Further, Sri Krishna gives information about the divine world situated in the material realm, in the cycle of creation, how these worlds and the innumerable beings residing in them, how they appear in them and how, when the destruction comes, how they are recreated. Become invisible. Beyond this creation, there is the divine, supernatural invisible world of God. Those humans who follow the path of light reach the end, the heavenly world, and never return to the mortal world. Whereas people who follow the path of darkness keep on transmigrating in the infinite cycles of birth, disease, old age and death, that is, this cycle of the soul leaving one body and entering another body continues continuously. Further, Sri Krishna tells Arjuna that a yogi knows at what time he has to leave his body, and the power of chanting the name makes it possible for him to do so. Now those people who think that youth is for enjoyment, their thinking like this is absolutely wrong. The person who starts devotion as per the meaning, i.e. in old age, cannot attain Sri Krishna. Because he spent his entire life in pleasures, and at the last moment, in his old age, his devotion did not have the purity to attain Lord Krishna. Lord Sri Krishna, while emphasizing on one thing, says, if such a devotee, who has been my devotee throughout his life, is not able to meditate on me, at the time of his death, that person will still attain me. Because due to his faith and infinite devotion, being pure, I myself, residing in the heart of that devotee, make him chant the name, through which my devotee will attain me in every situation. Rajvidya, Rajguhya Yoga, is the 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which has 34 verses. In this, it is told that the internal energy of Sri Krishna pervades the universe, creates it, and destroys the entire universe. In the 9th chapter, Sri Krishna has explained his glories. Friends, many of you must have resolved to adopt the sacred knowledge of Sri Krishna in your life, because after knowing so much, you too must have reached a pure state like Arjuna. Sri Krishna, for the knowledge that we will explain now, it is very important to have a pure mind. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that some human beings are always so focused on attaining material pleasures that they forget that the real truth of this human life is death. Due to which, such humans keep taking birth again and again in different births in this world. If those people put their faith in God, i.e. in Sri Krishna, then they can get both the happiness of this world and salvation from God. Oh Arjuna, this creation, created by me, is an illusion. Everything has arisen from me only. Just as the wind, despite being in the sky, has no effect on the sky, cannot pollute the sky, similarly, we all are from Lord Sri Krishna, all this is his Yoga Shakti. In the human body, there is the soul of God, which means that we are born from God, our original father is God, or in other words, the world father is God, and we are being sustained by his will. Just as the wind originates from the sky, but cannot pollute the sky, similarly, all human beings, despite originating from Sri Krishna, cannot pollute the Lord with their evil deeds and actions, just as the wind, moving in the sky, cannot pollute the sky. Similarly, all human beings, being in the realm of God, are also free to do their own actions. O Arjuna, at the end of the Kalpa, through the destruction, everything will dissolve in me, and then at the beginning of the Kalpa, I will return and create everything. Lord Sri Krishna is calling this chakra as his karma and says, I do my karma without any discrimination, this is my duty, but I do not bind myself in doing this karma. Further, Sri Krishna says that man, accepting his birth, should do his deeds with great devotion and meditation, which help man to set the goal of salvation in the future. Friends, I would like to tell you that the people who curse God and say that they are so troubled, and why is the other person so happy, all this is an account of the deeds of the man in his previous birth, due to which because you are facing trouble today. Happiness and sorrow both keep on coming and going. One who is happy today will definitely face sorrow tomorrow. On this earth, no matter how rich or poor one is, both happiness and sorrow keep on coming and going. The knowledge of such human beings, who are of demonic nature and find happiness in vices like greed, is useless. Those who do not know Lord Krishna, such people consider themselves wise and superior, such people live life in vain, such people go to hell, and remain bound in the cycle of life and death for an unlimited period of time. People go, but people of divine nature come to know Lord Krishna. Further, Sri Krishna emphatically says that he neither favors anyone nor ignores anyone, being impartial towards all living beings, even unrighteous, sinful humans, if they take refuge in Sri Krishna. Even then, they happily adopt him and quickly purify him by making him virtuous. Lord Sri Krishna promises that his devotees can never fall. He resides in the hearts of his devotees and fulfills their needs. Sri Krishna says, "Those who mistake me for a human being and do not know that I have assumed this human body for the welfare of the people, to destroy unrighteousness with my yoga maya," such Sri Krishna is calling people fools because Sri Krishna is indestructible, formless, supreme. Vibhuti Yoga is the 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, consisting of 42 verses, in which Sri Krishna explains to Arjuna how it causes the end of all material and spiritual existence. Friends, its essence is this: the different gods and goddesses living in different worlds, all of them are part of the same God. Some are worshipping the peepal tree, some the mountain, some the river or sea, some the fish living in them, turtles. There is no end to how many gods there are. Accepting their power, God has given equal powers to all of them, considering them to be the form of Vishnu. The power of all the virtues and vices present within the human being, all of them are the form of God. Its name is Vibhuti Yoga. Whatever is a living being, full of strength or full of miracles, all that is the form of God. Friends, in this chapter, Lord Krishna again describes his eternal glory with the aim of increasing devotion in Arjuna, so that Arjuna can be helped in concentrating his attention on God, because when a devotee takes refuge in the Lord, then the Lord, taking the responsibility of his devotee, does not leave him till the last moment, until his devotee crosses the boat of the cycle of life and death. Therefore, friends, it is wise for us too, like Arjuna, to take refuge in Lord Krishna. In this chapter, by reading the verses, we start feeling that divine, supernatural joy inside our mind, which cannot be described in words. Sri Krishna explains that neither the group of gods, nor the great sages, know my origin and majesty, because I, the source of the gods and sages, the source of this creation is from them. Sri Krishna says, the 7 great sages, and before them 4 other great sages, and Manu, have been born from the desire of my heart. Thus through them all the human beings in the world, and all the living beings living in the different worlds and planets, have been united with the Lord. Appeared. The knowledgeable persons, who have understood this very well, that everything has originated from God, hence they all remain engaged in my devotion, with their immense faith, in the devotion of Lord Sri Krishna, these human beings remain engrossed. By awakening other human beings also, by discussing the glories of Sri Krishna, they get complete satisfaction and mental peace and get integrated in me, i.e. Sri Krishna. The thoughts of my pure devotees, residing in me, their lives are completely dedicated to my service, and they, by always conversing about me, derive great satisfaction and joy. To show special mercy to such devotees, I, by residing in their hearts, completely destroy the darkness arising from their ignorance with the shining lamp of knowledge. Further, Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna in more detail about his divine opulence. O Arjuna, I am the Supreme Soul, who resides in the heart of all living beings. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Among the Adithyas, I am Vishnu. Among the lamps, I am the radiant sun. Among the Maruts, I am Marichi, and among the stars, I am the moon. In the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. In the gods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. In the senses, I am the mind, and in the living beings, I am the consciousness of the living man. Among all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Among the Yakshas and demons, I am Kabura, the lord of wealth. I am Agni, and among the mountains, I am Meru. O Arjuna, I am the beginning, the end, and the middle of the entire creation, everywhere. Of all the sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self, and of the logicians, I am the decisive truth. I am also the yoke of the deceivers, and the splendor of the glorious ones. I am the victory, I am the thrill, and I am the strength of the mighty. After listening to the precious teachings given by Sri Krishna, Arjuna says that he has fully realized the supreme, divine existence of Lord Shri Krishna, and he has come to know that Lord Shri Krishna is the master of this entire creation. Is the supreme Lord of? He then makes a humble request to the Lord to once again narrate more and more of his incomparable glory, hearing of which is like drinking nectar for Arjuna. Further, Shri Krishna says, everything in this entire creation has been born from my resolution, meaning whatever is there, and whatever is not there, everything is from Shri Krishna only. Due to my resolution, this world has been created, the birth of man and the feelings that have arisen inside man to see and understand this world. We have received all that from Lord Shri Krishna. Therefore, friends, we should see good, listen good, and pay attention to good deeds. Due to good feelings and good company, by renouncing the vices like attachment, greed etc. within you, you will perform selfless deeds, and then you will also praise God. You will start doing it, and then you will attain Lord Krishna. Vishvaswarup Darshan Yoga is the 11th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which has 55 verses. In this chapter, on the request of Arjuna, Shri Krishna assumes his Vishva form. Arjuna had understood the most secret knowledge, which even the greatest sages and gods do not know. Friends, now you will think that why Shri Krishna gave his confidential knowledge to Arjuna only, because Arjuna's principles were not as strict as those of Yudhishthira. The amount of attachment in Arjuna was such that it confused him in taking decisions. Being a devotee of Lord Shri Krishna, he used to request him to support him in every situation. You may know that when he had to choose between Narayani's army and God himself, Arjuna chose Shri Krishna, and it is faith that draws God to support Arjuna and he becomes his charioteer. God loves his devotees immensely, and always strives for the welfare of his devotees. If someone still does not understand the divinity of God, then no one is more foolish than him. Friends, in this chapter, Arjuna prays to Shri Krishna to show him his infinite cosmic form, then Shri Krishna, being kind to Arjuna, grants him divine vision, after getting which, Arjuna becomes aware of Lord Shri Krishna's vision. Sees Anant in a huge form, which is rare even for the gods. With divine vision, Arjuna, in the universal form of God, is seeing the infinite expanse of the universe, all at one place. Such a divine form, which was divided into many thousands, sees innumerable faces, eyes, arms, abdomen in the wonderful, infinite form of God. The huge form of Shri Krishna has no beginning and no end. The brightness of that huge form is much more than the light of lakhs and crores of suns shining together in the sky. Seeing that great form, every fiber of Arjuna's body begins to shudder from within, and he sees that all three worlds are trembling with fear, fearing the Lord's law. He saw all the gods in heaven, entering into the Lord and taking refuge in him, the sages, the gods and the accomplished ones, praising the Lord by reciting the sacred Vedic mantras, prayers, and scriptures. Further, Arjuna, looking at the form of Lord Shri Krishna, says that he is seeing all the sons of Dhritarashtra, including their associate kings, entering the mouth of Lord Shri Krishna, just like moths, moving fast. By entering the flame of fire, it destroys itself. Arjuna bows his head in obeisance to Sri Krishna and confesses that, astonished by the universal form of the Lord, his heart is trembling with fear, and he has lost his mental balance. Frightened Arjuna wanted to know from Sri Krishna the reality of his terrible form, which was not like the human form he had known before now as his teacher and friend. Answering this, Sri Krishna says that he, in the form of Kal, is the destroyer of all three worlds. Lord Shri Krishna, while announcing the future, says that all the great warriors of the Kaurava side have already been killed by him. Therefore, O Arjuna, considering your victory certain, arise and fight. Arjuna's heart trembling with fear, Arjuna, praising Lord Krishna in this colossal form, endowed with indomitable courage and incomparable strength, worships Puna Lord and says that if in the course of long friendship he, only to Sri Krishna, seeing him as a human being, if he accidentally commits any crime against them, then they should forgive him. Lord Krishna, accepting Arjuna's prayer, first assumes his four-armed Narayana form, and then his beautiful, two-armed Purushottam form. He tells Arjuna that it is extremely difficult to see the universal form of God, which Arjuna has seen, that his true form cannot be seen by studying the Vedas, nor by penance, charity or yajnas. Can be seen, but Arjuna, the form in which I stand before you can be seen only by pure and unalloyed devotion. Friends, if we understand in a few lines, God fulfills all the wishes of his devotees, even if it is an impossible wish. God also gives the knowledge that due to running away from their deeds, people end their own happiness, like Sri Krishna said to Arjuna that, if you will not fight, then I will end these unrighteous people, O Arjuna, if you fight, that is, do selfless work, then in return you will attain my supreme abode by enjoying the happiness of victory and empire. Bhakti Yoga is the 12th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, consisting of 20 verses. In this chapter, Lord Krishna explains the glory of the path of devotion to Arjuna. Friends, what is the importance of this human life? Some people, to escape from their deeds, keep doing bhajan kirtan, but giving up their deeds and just doing bhajan kirtan is not right. It takes them in the wrong direction. Friends, Srimad Bhagavad Gita has been studied by many scholars. Understanding Bhagavad Gita is not easy, even the knowledge of my many births may fall short. To explain the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna says, have a pure heart, do your work and offer the fruits to me, but abandoning your work and just chanting bhajans is not right, which takes them in the wrong direction. Move forward with this effort. Friends, in this chapter, this question is asked by Arjuna to Sri Krishna, that whom should he consider complete in yoga, whether those who worship God in the corporeal form, or those who worship the formless, Parabrahma? Answering this, Sri Krishna says that both the paths lead to God realization, but those who worship Sri Krishna in physical form are considered by Sri Krishna to be the best yogis, but worshipping his formless, invisible form is considered as a great yogi. Is painful and extremely difficult, whereas the devotees worshipping the corporeal form, with their consciousness, have the easy way to merge into the Lord. A person whose every action is dedicated to God, quickly becomes free from the bondage of life and death. Sri Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that he asks him to surrender his intellect to me and to fix his mind only in his loving devotion. Further, Sri Krishna says that the human mind is very fickle, and achieving the goal in the path of devotion is a very difficult struggle. Therefore Sri Krishna, while giving another option, says, to concentrate your mind completely on God. To achieve this state, the state of perfection can be achieved only through continuous practice. Devotion is not a mysterious gift. By continuously practicing it and gradually nurturing it, man progresses. O Arjuna, the man who cannot do this should not accept his defeat, but that man, taking refuge in Sri Krishna, should continue to perform his duties to attain happiness. If even this is not possible for him, then that person should give up the fruits of his actions and settle down in his soul. Further, Sri Krishna describes the knowledge acquired through worldly activities as the best knowledge, but even better than that is meditation, and the man who gives up his fruits from the best deeds acquired through meditation, that man attains supreme peace. It means that when someone defames us and abuses us, our mind sinks with the pain of extreme sadness and we start getting angry at that person. But when a yogi understands the glory of God through devotion, he finds both his infamy, suffering, and praise normal. He remains engaged in his work continuously, because now he is free from greed, honor. I have gone away from vices like pride. His devotion with faith is more dear to the Lord, because he now worships with full, reverential faith in the Lord. The devotee who accepts the existence of God, but has doubts in his mind about the existence or non-existence of God, such people can never know God. Kshatriya Vibhag Yoga, Srimad Bhagavad Gita is the 13th chapter. It has 35 verses. In it, Sri Krishna tells Arjuna about the knowledge of Kshetra and Kshatriya, and the way to be born in a good life through Sattva, Raja, and Tama gunas. Friends, this is the body area. The one who knows it is the sole expert. Arjuna, in this chapter, wants to know from Sri Krishna about Prakriti and Purusha, Kshetra and Kshatriyan, and knowledge and the goal of knowledge. Prakriti, i.e. nature, which is all around us. Similarly, there is a nature present inside the human being, the purpose of which is to gain knowledge. We can accept the body as the field, and the soul residing in the body, as the knower of the body. If we talk about the field, that is, our body, which also includes all the other components of powers like mind, intellect, ego and maya, and all these together form our personality. It includes all aspects of our personality, except the soul, which is aware of the body. If we say it in simple words, just as a farmer does farming by sowing seeds in the fields, in the same way, we nourish our body, i.e. the area, with auspicious and inauspicious thoughts and deeds, as a result of which, we create our own destiny. Kshatrajya means our knowledge. Whatever a person thinks, the same thoughts come before him as a result, which means that our thoughts are the originator of all actions. Therefore, we should learn the method of nourishing our body by understanding the auspicious, inauspicious and appropriate and inappropriate thoughts and actions. For this, it is necessary for the one who knows the body and the body to know the difference between these two. This is the reason why man, due to being born hundreds of times, is trapped in the cycle of birth and death. Lord Sri Krishna is explaining this to us by telling us that our actions are the reason for salvation and next birth. Ignorant people are thus entangled in the maze of karma. They have spiritual knowledge, but their attachment is towards attaining heaven. Some people are so foolish that, under the influence of their wealth and lust, they forget that they cannot die, as if they have become immortal. Further, Sri Krishna tells Arjuna that as a result of the deeds of his previous birth, man gets a lot of wealth, respect, and everything in his present life. He gets drowned in the illusion of ego. Egoistic people start considering themselves God. Such people, by ignoring the rules made by the universe, are never able to come out of the cycle of birth and death due to getting trapped in the maze of their wrong deeds. Friends, here Sri Krishna is trying to explain to Arjuna that to know a subject well is to be an expert. Lord Krishna says, he likes solitude, the yogi, who, through self-contemplation, by acquiring knowledge, by following the path of devotion to God, a man escapes from the maze of life and death. In the path of devotion, a person should know how to meditate on the devotion of Sri Krishna only while living in solitude. Such a person, while enjoying all the pleasures of this world and doing his deeds, attains salvation, i.e. attains Sri Krishna. If we want to understand the truth of Parabrahman, which is possible to know and understand through the power of yoga, to fulfill their false desires, the people of the world have created different religions in this world, but there is only one supreme God, who does not belong to any religion. God is the source of origin of all human beings, who man, through the power of yoga, comes to know the knowledge of God. It is called elemental knowledge. Sri Krishna says, both Prakriti and Purusha, i.e. Shiva and Shakti, are eternal. When Shiva and Shakti are combined, then only from the reaction of action, movement and creation can arise, and this creation is going on only then. There are three qualities arising from nature, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, and on the basis of these qualities, the vagina in which a human being will be born is decided. Those with rajasic qualities, such as ego, anger, are born in the human form. Those who live in tamasic qualities, such as those who indulge in rituals such as eating meat, temples, lust, etc., are born in the lower forms of animals, insects, and the one who consumes sattvic food while living in sattvic qualities, attains the divine birth. The point to be noted here is that only the good and pure deeds of a person open the doors of salvation for him. Friends, Lord Sri Krishna, while explaining the Tattva Gyan to Arjuna, is trying to tell how a human being can escape from the cycle of life and death by selflessly worshipping Sri Krishna and all those pleasures and deeds of the world. How to get out. Ganatri Vibhag Yoga, Srimad Bhagavad Gita is the 14th chapter. It has 27 verses. In it Sri Krishna describes the qualities of sattva, rajas, and tamas. The way to attain these qualities and its result are explained. Friends, in this chapter, the nature of material power has been described, which is the source of the elements of the body, how mind, matter, what is the reason for the origin of both of them. Sri Krishna explains that this natural power is made up of three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Our body, mind and intellect, being made of this natural power, also have all the three gunas present in them, and human beings have inside. The combination of these three qualities determines the nature of our personality. Sattva guna represents calm nature and purity, and Raju guna gives rise to unsatisfied ambitions leading to endless desires and worldly attractions, and Tamo guna causes confusion, laziness, drunkenness, and sleep in the human being. Until the soul awakens, it must learn to deal with these three powerful forces of nature. Sri Krishna says that, O Arjuna, by suppressing Rajaguna and Tamaguna, Sattaguna increases. Getting up in the morning, practicing yoga, this is Sattaguna. When Tamaguna increases, then there is no desire to get up in the morning. Among these three gunas, by identifying which guna is dominant, one should control oneself. By suppressing the Tamo guna, one should increase one's Raju guna and Sattva guna. Lord Krishna says that because I am free from these three qualities, I am beyond all qualities. Those people who understand these three gunas, and with pure feelings, seeing and knowing them, try to transcend the gunas, they become accomplished. Friends, let us understand this with a very beautiful example. Once, a pregnant lioness, while hunting some goats, got injured. In an injured state, the pregnant lioness gives birth. The injured lioness dies as soon as the child is born. Now, the baby lion is brought up among the goats, due to which when it grows up, the baby lion also behaves like those goats. He is a lion and, because he is not aware of it, has forgotten his true nature. Goes. One day in the forest, another lion shows the baby lion its reflection in the water of the pond. Then the feeling of being a lion awakens in that baby lion, and it also gets strength. Friends, what I mean to say is that it is very important to have right guidance and right knowledge in life. Further, Lord Sri Krishna explains a simple way to get out of the bondage of these gunas, because Lord Sri Krishna is beyond these three gunas, that is, gunatit. If a man concentrates his mind on God, then his mind also moves towards the state of divinity. Sri Krishna further tells Arjuna about the characteristics of persons who attain the state of these three qualities. Such persons always maintain balance in these three qualities. Such persons are never disturbed by the influence arising from substances and circumstances. Such persons, seeing the form of the Lord in all living beings, creatures, substances and man, have these three qualities under their control, hence worldly circumstances can neither make them joyful nor make them unhappy, thus without being disturbed. They, being situated in their soul, reach my supreme abode. The 15th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita is Purushottam Yoga. It has 20 verses. In it Sri Krishna says that the wise men of divine nature worship me in every way, and the ignorant men of demonic nature make fun of me. Sri Krishna, while explaining the nature of the material world to Arjuna, says how man remains entangled in the illusion of this world. To explain this to Arjuna, Sri Krishna compares the material world to a banyan tree, extending from top to bottom, whose roots are upwards and branches are downwards, whose leaves can be considered as Vedic creations. O Arjuna, he who knows the nature of this tree is the knower of the Vedas. Further Sri Krishna says, at the top, in the root of this tree, the Supreme God resides, and below him, there are three qualities of God, Rajgun Brahma, Satgun Vishnu, and Tamgun is Shiva. The form of these three gunas is the imperishable banyan tree, and the branches of this tree, nourished by these three gunas of the nature of the material world, keep growing from the bottom upwards. The branches of the tree, the objects of man's senses, are. The roots of this tree go downwards, when at the end of the branches of this tree, new shoots come, which represents the desires of man. Similarly, when the branches of this tree grow from every direction, it points to how man, entangled in the lack of knowledge, lives his life. The embodied soul of man, without understanding the knowledge of the source of origin of this tree, how long it has existed, and how it is growing, gets entangled in this confusion of the cycle from one birth to the next, falling on the branches of this tree. Keeps rotating from top to bottom. Further Sri Krishna tells Arjuna that the real form of this tree cannot be seen in this world. No human being is unable to understand this world of Maya, its beginning, who did it and why, who laid its foundation and why. Raki, but with the determination of man, with his weapon of renunciation, by cutting this tree with strong roots, that supreme Brahma can be found. The man who is freed from false prestige, illusion, and false association, and the man who is satisfied with material lust, the man who is free from the duality of pleasure and pain, and the man who, without any illusion, doubt, having surrendered themselves to the Supreme, they attain the Supreme. Further, Sri Krishna says, in that supernatural divine kingdom where my supreme abode is, there is neither light from the sun or the moon, nor light from fire or lightning. Those humans who reach this world, never again return to this physical world. The man who, in this material world, lives various stages of life, and after death the soul, leaving this mortal body, goes from one body to another with the same concepts, with the same thoughts of the mind. Just as the wind carries fragrance, so the soul takes up one body and then, leaving it, takes up another. Thus the jiva, by assuming a gross body, acquires a certain type of ears, eyes, tongue, nose and sense of touch. The data in the mind of this new body, with the frequency of the previous birth, are connected. Thus, he enjoys a particular set of sense objects. Foolish humans cannot understand this. I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living beings. I am present in everyone's heart, and from me come memory, knowledge, and forgetfulness. The glory of the sun, the glory of the moon and the glory of fire, everything comes from me only. How can any living being leave his body, nor can a human being be able to understand this? Being under the influence of the qualities of nature, how can he enjoy your body? But the wise man knows everything, that worldly pleasures are all illusion, that the body is perishable, and the soul is imperishable. Any man who, without doubt, has known me as God, knows everything. Of all these, the best is God, who nurtures all people, hence I am the best human being. Devasur Sampadvibhag Yoga is the 16th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. It has 24 verses. In it, Sri Krishna tells about the characteristics of the wise man, who is naturally of divine nature, and the ignorant man, who is of demonic nature, in which one is good and the other is bad. In this chapter, Sri Krishna describes the two types of nature in humans, the divine and the demonic. The humans who are demonic do not know what to do and what not to do, neither cleanliness is found in them nor neither proper conduct nor truthfulness. Such people say that this world is unreal, this world has no basis, no one has any control over it. They say that the living being arises from lust, and apart from lust, there is no other reason for it. The demonic man thinks, today I have so much wealth, and I, according to my plans, will get more wealth. Now so much is mine, and more wealth will increase in the future. He is my enemy, and I, if I have been killed, my other enemies will also be killed. I am the master of everything. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man, surrounded by noble relatives. There is no one as powerful and happy as me. I will perform yajna, give some charity and rejoice. Thus, such human beings, deluded by ignorance, deluded by falsehood, ego, power, pride, lust and anger, such people of demon nature, are jealous of the Lord. Such men, who are situated in the Lord, both in their own body, and in the bodies of others, blaspheme against the true religion. Thus, these people are troubled by various worries, and are bound by the net of illusion. Being too attached to sensual pleasures, they fall into hell. There are 3 doors to hell: lust, anger and greed. A wise man should abandon them, because these are the enemies of the soul's fall. O Arjuna, man can escape from these 3 gates of hell, if man, for the sake of self-realization, performs favorable actions. Gradually he reaches God, attaining the supreme goal of man. Man should understand the provisions of the scriptures, what is duty and what is not duty. Knowing such rules and regulations, man should behave in such a way that he can gradually rise up and move towards salvation. Shraddha Vibhag Yoga is the 17th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. It has 28 verses. It is related to the 3 gunas, Sat, Raja and Tama. The person who has more gunas, his devotion or devotion to life becomes the same. Yajna, penance, charity, action, all these are governed by these 3 gunas. In this 17th chapter, Sri Krishna explains the effects of these 3 gunas, including rajas, sattvic and tamasic qualities. Humans with sattva guna worship the gods of heaven, those with raju guna worship yakshas and rakshasas, those with tamo guna worship ghosts. And worship ghosts. Even the food of every human being is of 3 types, according to the 3 modes of material nature. The same thing is true about yajna, penance, and charity also. Further, Sri Krishna tells Arjuna that now I will tell you about the differences between them. Sattvic food increases the lifespan of a person, like green vegetables, fruits, honey, jaggery, whole grains, vegetarian and less spicy food, which purifies the mind of the person, and gives strength, health, happiness and satisfaction. Gives Rajaguni food, like very bitter, very sour, salty, hot, pungent, food items which are dear to humans. Such food items cause distress, sorrow and disease. Tamasi food, like food prepared 3 hours before eating, overcooked food, tasteless, decomposed and rotten food, food consisting of remains and untouchable things, is dear to people of dark quality. Similarly, there are 3 types of yajnas: sattvic, rajasi and tamasic. Sattvic yajnas are performed for the welfare of the world, rajasic yajnas are meant to attain worldly pleasures, wealth, grains etc., while tamasic yajnas, without mantras, the scriptures are lawless, without food donations, without faith, and to cause harm to anyone. Therefore, friends, the Maya of the 3 gunas of nature is present in all beings, is present in every part of the world, can be seen in the form of night, day, weather, food, thoughts, and actions. For example, morning time brings sattva guna in man, afternoon time makes man rajasic, and night time brings tamas guna in man. Without both rajas guna and tamas guna, sattva guna cannot be pure. Similarly, without both tamas guna and sattva guna, rajas guna cannot be pure. Therefore, sattva guna binds us with attachment to happiness, rajas guna binds us with activity, and tamas guna binds us with the state of illusion. As long as man is influenced by any one of these 3 gunas, till then, humans remain bound by the illusion of this world. Moksha Sannyasa Yoga is the 18th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. It has 78 verses. It contains the essence and conclusion of all the teachings of Gita. It is told that among the humans on earth, and among the gods of heaven, there is no such creature which is saved from these 3 qualities of nature. Man should know what work he should do and what work he should not do. Man's intellect properly recognizes the nature of dharma and adharma and the nature of attaining salvation. In this, the elements of Gyan Yoga and Tyaga, i.e. without the power of results, Karma Yoga, have been explained. Friends, you should listen and understand this chapter very carefully till the last. Arjuna asks questions to Lord Sri Krishna regarding renunciation and renunciation. Sri Krishna tells that both these words are basically the same, which means have to abandon. In the life of an ascetic, a person renounces household life and society and practices spiritual practice, but a renunciant person, while remaining engaged in all his actions, gives up the desire for the fruits of his actions. Friends, in the entire Bhagavad Gita, the main objective of Sri Krishna is to explain that Sri Krishna, while praising sacrifice, says that a person should never sacrifice these tasks related to yajna, charity, penance, and performing duties, which purifies a knowledgeable person. In this, man also performs his duties, without desiring the fruits of his actions. Man completes his work without any selfishness. Further, Sri Krishna puts more emphasis on this and says that man should never abandon his prescribed duties. If for some reason due to confusion, man abandons his prescribed duties, then such man's sacrifice makes him tamaguni. If a man leaves his prescribed duties due to some trouble or fear of physical discomfort, then that man has renounced the Rajagun. A man's sacrifice for his duty never leads him to progress. Therefore, O Arjuna, when a man performs his assigned duty only because it is mandatory to do it, then man performs all the deeds of the material world and also sacrifices the fruits of these deeds, then his sacrifice becomes sataguni. Sri Krishna says, it is indeed impossible for any human being or living being to give up all activities, but the person who gives up the fruits of action is called a true renunciant. Whatever work a man does with his body, he is the doer of that work. The various senses of man, altogether, are the 5 factors of karma. Whatever right or wrong action a man does with his body, mind or speech is due to these 5 factors. The reason why man's intellect does not get confused due to false ego is man's senses, which include the 3 components of action and doer, which motivate him to do any work. In this world of illusion, the knowledge and thinking of different human beings is different. Among human beings of spiritual nature, you have to understand the definition of sattva guna, the knowledge in which different human beings look at that knowledge in a different light. Similarly, you have to understand rajaguna, that action which is regular and done without attachment, without love or hatred and desire for results, is called sattaguni. But when the action is done in the spirit of falsehood, egoism, if it goes, it becomes rajaguna. Similarly, the person whose actions are against the scriptures, who is materialistic, stubborn, deceitful and lazy, who is always sad and procrastinates in work, becomes tamaguni. O Arjun, man is unable to see these qualities of nature, entangled in the terrible illusory web of these three gunas, rajagun, sattvagun and tamagun. Man keeps taking birth countless times. Such humans can never attain salvation, so that the embodied soul can be freed from the bondage of its karma. I am the cause of all the emotions arising from sattva-gun, rajugun and tamogun, but these qualities are not within me. Because I, God, am beyond all these qualities, because I am Gunatit. O Arjuna, how can one attain me, the state of supreme knowledge, the supreme? One can understand me only by devotional service, and when one is in full consciousness of me, by devotion, then he can enter the kingdom of God. My pure-minded devotee, despite being engaged in all kinds of karmic activities, takes refuge in me, and by my grace, reaches the eternal and imperishable abode, under any circumstances. Therefore, O Arjun, if you too, understanding these things, perform your duty in duty, then you too will surely attain me. And if you do not accept my knowledge by saying that I will not fight, then everything of yours will be destroyed because of your deviation from the path of righteousness and charity. O Arjun, within you too, I am the same. Therefore, leave all attachments and come out of this illusion and fight. You will attain a high place in the abode of God. Then Arjun got up and said, O Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, I have assimilated your complete knowledge well in my mind. Now I have become stable, as per the guidance given to me by you. I am fine, in the same way I am doing well in my life. I will follow my duty and religion. Friends, remember one thing, no matter how many difficulties come in life, the person who adopts the teachings given by Lord Krishna in his life. According to Lord Krishna, whatever work a person does in his life, the problems coming in his life are removed in one day. That person definitely reaches his goal. Some people believe that Srimad Bhagavad Gita is a Hindu scripture, but friends, this is a valuable sermon given by Lord Shri Krishna himself. It should not be linked with any religion or caste. On Srimad Bhagavad Gita, all types of religions, human beings have equal rights. So friends, by repeatedly listening to the teachings given in the voice of Lord Shri Krishna, you should try to implement the words of Shri Krishna in your life. That's all for today, friends. Don't forget to share and subscribe Sagar Gyan channel. Radha Radha Shri Krishna.